So,
Yes.
you went to see Transformers Rise of the Beast. Now, I have to be honest with you, because obviously we had 2 weeks, and I went to see Across the Spider-Verse last week, and I had a chance where the timings could have worked, and I could have seen Transformers Rise of the Beast this week. But I looked at this and I went, no. I just thought no. I mean, I just thought life's too short, man. I mean, I'm going to stay at home and hang out with my family. All right, I'm going to stay at home and hang out with my family, and I'm going to leave this. I'm just going to no, because Bumblebee, all right, that was okay, but this looked like it was a Transformers movie where they were just going to forget about. Essentially, okay, I'm going to try and not do that thing where I review a film without reviewing it, and I'm going to hand over to the person who's actually seen the film. Sean, tell us about Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
Okay. Transformers Rise of the Beast. So, bearing in mind, I'd been away a while, and so when I came back, and I thought, well, I'll go to the cinema, and this is what I say, and it brought back. I sat there, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to enjoy this. So, yeah, basically, the quick story is this introduces a few new characters. You've got Transformers that are animals. So you've got
Yes.
like an owl, a cheetah, a gorilla, and a rhinoceros. But they're like transformery type things. You know, they can transform into things, and
Yeah.
they've been looking after. It's not the Allspark or anything else, but this is other things. Key that has been hidden for centuries, and they're like
Mm-hmm.
the prologue. The prologue to the film is there's this bunch of baddies that want to come down and they want this key. So. And it's pretty good. The action sequence to start with, before the actual all titles come up, is quite a good sequence. I thought, you know, there's a nice battle there, and I thought, oh, this is okay. And then of course it switches to Earth. So
Yeah.
basically, what these animals have done, their world was destroyed, so they've gone to Earth,
Yeah.
and they've got it hidden. And there's 2 parts to this key. So there's 2, and basically it's the same as every other one. You know, they're after something. You've got bad ones that are after something. Like in the first one, they were after the Allspark. Well, in this one, I forget what they call it. It's some sort of key. Anyway, they're after. And
Sure. No, this is going to be the second review I've heard in which people cannot remember what the name of the MacGuffin is.
That thing is.
Yeah.
that
Me
tells you
normally.
something. It was like the review of the Empire Movie Podcast. They couldn't remember what the name of the MacGuffin was, and they mentioned the Allspark. They're like, no, it isn't the Allspark, but they couldn't remember the name. And I feel that tells you something. But yeah, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so you've got some new characters anyway, and basically you've got bad robots, you've got good, well, you know, good Transformers, and
Yeah.
the Autobots and the Terracons, whatever they're called.
It's
And now,
the original was the Autobots and Decepticons. I think now it's the Maximals and the Terracons.
the Maximals and the Terracons, yeah. So it gets confusing, doesn't it? So yeah, so basically it's the same trusted formula. Like Optimus Prime gets a bit of a whooping, and then it turns out that, you know, basically it's like every other Transformer movie. It's just different characters driving around, changing up into different things. You know, talking in posh voices and saying the stars will be, you know,
Bumblebee.
we must stay on this earth. You're Prime? You're a Prime? That's Optimus Prime. You know what I mean? Oh, Prime, I'm going to rip you apart. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
basically, it's just basically it's just a tried and trusted formula of machines turning into.
Well, is it?
Yeah, and you know, I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Bumblebee. Never been a fan of Bumblebee. Don't like Bumblebee particularly. I find him really annoying. And shall we say something happens to him, and you're like, I'm like, oh really? Oh what? So and then something happens that, you know, he can, you know, he suddenly.
Essentially, okay. I think Sean, I'm gonna read in between the lines and say that, like, you know, there's a bit where you think Bumblebee's dead, and then you're like, yes, and then it turns out no, and then it turns out no, Bumblebee survived, and you're like, no.
So because I'm not a big Bumblebee fan. Okay, so on the whole, my thoughts on this movie. I mean, I hadn't been for a while, so bearing in mind I hadn't been for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So, and I sat down and I was watching the trailers, and I thought, yeah, I'm enjoying this. So maybe I enjoyed this one more than I should have done because I hadn't been for a while. But I have to say, I mean, the first one I thought was okay. I really liked the first one. The rest,
The first Transformers movie, yeah.
the first one I liked because I really liked. My favourite was the Oh, you eBay man user number 65.
I know. I love that moment in the first Transformers movie. I think that is genius.
He's called Barricade, I think, but yeah, he was my favourite Transformer out of all of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, Dick Whitty or whatever his name is over there. Anyway, but Wickedy,
Sam
that's
Whitty.
it. Or some-
Sam
Yeah.
Sam Witwicky.
That's it. Anyway, so this was quite enjoyable. It was quite fun. It was silly hokum stuff, normal, run of the mill. They get beaten, they come back, they get beaten. Some get hurt, some don't. Some get
Yeah.
And then in the end, things work out, And then there's that little speech at the end, and it's like, whoa. We must, how Optimus there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is, and I think the weird thing about this is because they made Bumblebee, and they made Bumblebee very obviously set in the 80s, and apparently they've made this film very obviously set in the 90s. So they're trying to say it's almost as if they're trying to say that was 80s, this is 90s. They're part of the same continuity, and then they're going to go forward to the Transformers movies we got, which are set in the 2000s.
Right.
And when they do that, when they try and make a point of that, I immediately have questions. Like, okay, what the heck? So if the Terracons found this thing on Earth in the 90s and the Allspark that means the Allspark was still there, and then they're going to find that, and eventually you just end up having to go, like the next film we're going to talk about in cinemas, which is the Fast and Furious franchise, you just have to say, forget this continuity nonsense. You are going to drive yourself mad trying to make this thing make sense. You're going to drive yourself mad. But okay, so how many stars would you give Transformers Rise of the Beasts?
Okay, I'm going to give Transformers a solid 3 because I enjoyed it. I mean, so 3 stars for Transformers.
So it is definitely better than The Last Night.
Yes.
Oh, because
it is, as I say, maybe it was because I hadn't been to the cinema for a while, but I quite, I didn't hate it, and it was silly, and I could have gone to town on it with all its plot holes and everything, but I quite enjoyed it. So, and I think it deserves a 3-star because it certainly was I only never realised until the credits that I didn't realise Steven Spielberg was involved with this stuff.
Yeah, he's one of the producers of the first one. So I think he had it, but until Michael Bay did his thing, and people just let Michael Bay do his thing because the films kept making $1 billion, even though they were rubbish. But I'll tell you, I think the problem is that I just feel like with the Transformers movie, they can't give you anything new. It's just going to.
I remember there was one thing I was thinking of, Toes. Just bring this in now. Is everything at the moment is woke, politically correct, and things like that.
Yep.
There was the 2 human characters, which were of different ethnicities. I thought they did
Anthony Ramos and Dominic Fishback. He's Latino and she's black.
Yeah, but what I mean is they did it really, really well. It wasn't in your face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't like they were making a point of, look at us, look at this. We have replaced the white leads with some people who are not white.
Yeah. So I did. That was one thing that
give us a medal.
I must mention that. Yeah, because it was better. Normally, it's in your face. It's so obvious, isn't it? What they do.
Sometimes you do have places where they do try and make it a big deal. Sometimes they don't make it that much of a deal, but there's still people online who will try and make it a big deal. Like we spoke about The Little Mermaid last time we recorded. I feel like that was just kind of done, no big deal. But there was still some people like, how dare you make her black? But but hey, what are you gonna do? The internet and people. Right, so now we go on to